Hello and welcome to another gameplay video. I'm the host JonNario, and today I'll be talking about how to increase your physical damage and magic damage in Trove. So this is going to be a video for those who want to know how to get to the big 300k physical damage, the big 350k physical or magic damage, and perhaps even more if you want. So for those who are at least at 33.5k PR, you will not find this video necessarily, but if you want to stick around and hear me talk, then it's always appreciated. Also, this is scripted commentary if you can tell already. And there's two things to keep in note. First of all, this is going to be a physical and magic damage video, not critical damage. Since getting high critical damage is much easier than physical damage and magic damage because you only have to focus on gems and gear. However, physical damage and magic damage you have to focus on a lot of other things. Number two is going to be don't focus 100% on your physical and magic damage on everything, since having both physical and magic damage and alongside critical damage is going to be the better one in terms of getting high coefficient. So if you want to get high coefficient, also make sure to get high critical damage alongside physical and magic damage. This is just to help out those who are having trouble in increasing their physical and magic damage, those who have around 200k and want to increase it even further. This is going to be the video for you. Anyways, let's get started. So if you want to have high magic damage, you need to keep this in mind. In this game, the total physical damage and magic damage are divided into two stats: raw damage and bonus percentage damage, which both of them can be checked easily on the PC version of Trove. If you can hover your mouse over the damage or physical magic, and you will see base damage and percentage damage. However, to check your raw damage and bonus percentage damage on console, you need to do a little bit of math. I'll put the formula on how to check both your raw damage and your bonus percentage damage in the description below, since that'll take a long time to explain and I don't feel anyone wants to hear me talk about math in a video like this. Anyways, I've seen plenty of players that focus on one thing rather than both, actually, and usually it's the raw damage. But if I told you that a 434 Trove Mastery with a 20% ally and a club that has a Shrine of Ferocity, at least at tier 3, that player's physical and magic damage is 50% raw and 50% bonus damage. So yes, half of the damage of that player is going to be raw and half of that damage is going to be bonus damage. So yes, a 434 with 20% ally at tier 3 damage fixture will be doing half of the damage is going to come out from your bonus damage and half is going to come out from your raw. And I feel a lot of players overlook that because they go straight into increasing the raw damage. Note, increasing the raw damage is still important if you want to maximize damage, and also you should get a lot of bonus percentage damage because the percentage damage scales off your raw damage. Now, how to increase both raw and bonus percentage damage? First and foremost, I will focus on raw. Raw damage, you can actually get it from gems, gear, dragon, subclass stat buffs, and food. Let me know in the comments below if I forget something like in this category. So if you want to increase your raw, the first thing that you should go for is gem. This is a no-brainer. Gems are literally the highest raw increasing item in the entire game, especially if you were talking about stellar gems. That is going to be your main source of raw damage. That's going to be the one that you are going to get the most out of it. So that's number one. Number two is going to be gear. Gear is going to be the second one that you should focus. Gear is going to give you a really nice bump in your raw damage, but it's not going to be the main source. So gear is going to be really good, especially if we're talking about crystal gear and above and a stellar ring. So that's going to be a really good bump in your damage. Dragons, subclass buff, and food should be the last thing that you should focus. Those are the things that if you want to maximize your damage, because the amount of damage that you're getting from dragons, considering how much they cost, I'm not saying that you shouldn't focus on, well, you shouldn't focus on getting dragon, but dragons shouldn't be the first thing that you should go for if you want stats. If you want stats, especially raw damage, gems, and gear, those are the two big options. Dragons, subclass stat buff, and food should be the other option that you should get it passively or you should get it from time to time. Same goes with augmenting in this occasion. Augmenting will increase your damage by quite a bit, but I don't know a whole lot, so considering how much it costs, it shouldn't be like your main focus unless you don't have anything else to increase your damage. Now that I talk about your raw damage, let's talk about your bonus percentage damage. The bonus percentage damage consists of your Trove Mastery, your allies, fixtures, most buff in the entire game, and class defaults. Again, if I forgot something, let me know in the comments below. First and most importantly is going to be the Trove Mastery. I did explain a little bit in my Trove Mastery guide, well, my Mastery guide in general, and your increasing your Trove Mastery will increase your damage by quite a bit. Trove Mastery, you are getting a 0.15% of your raw damage every Trove Mastery level up. And this is a lot more than you think, since we're talking about 15% of your raw damage every 100 level. So if we're talking about Trove Mastery 300, then we're talking about 45% of your raw damage increase just from Mastery. And yes, this is a 45% of your raw. So in other words, 1.45 times your raw damage. So if you want to look at it that way. So in other words, just take your raw damage and multiply it by 1.45 if you're Trove Mastery 300. You can take that as an option. So quick example, if you have 100,000 raw and if you get a 45% increase, and if you're Trove Mastery 300, you will have 145,000 total damage just from your Mastery alone. So yeah, that's a lot more than you think. And saying that you can reach up to 650 Trove Mastery on PC, that's literally 97.5% of your damage, or 1.95 times of your raw, or in other words, almost double your raw damage. So in other words, you can probably see it right here, just from Mastery alone, you can almost get double the amount of damage of your raw damage. So if you have 150,000 raw damage, you will get into the 300k just from Mastery alone. And then we talk about allies. Allies, the strongest allies in the game, which are going to Rapt, berserker, chrono, qubesly, prefect, penguin, so on and so forth, are usually 20% damage allies. So it's going to be at 1.2 times of your raw, or an equivalent of 134 bonus Trove Mastery right there. Third is going to be fiction, and again, this is pretty easy to get if you know that there's plenty of high level clubs that are recruiting a lot of people, and you can know that you can get in. That if you're not in a club, get yourself in a club, especially those high level clubs will get you bonuses like for example, the Shrine of Ferocity fixtures. The Shrine of Ferocity fixtures can be a 5, 10 or 15% increase to your bonus damage, so depending on the tier of the fixture. So again, 5% is 34 Trove Mastery, 10% is 67, and 15% is exactly 100 Trove Mastery equivalent. So you can actually see right there, it's quite a lot. The fourth will be the buffs. Most buffs in the game will actually increase your bonus percentage damage. It's not going to be your total damage, it's going to be it's going to increase your bonus percentage damage, like Mastery, like all that sort of stuff. That is going to be percentage increase from your raw. So for example, Lunar Lancer Subclass, like I mentioned, is 10%. So 10% of your raw, so it just increased your bonus damage by 10%. And it's going to be 10% of your raw. That's pretty much how it works, like most buffs in the entire game. Obviously, there are some exceptions here and there, like, for example, the Ice Age ult, the Ice Age subclass, and Martial and Arcane Emblem, which actually those scale off your total damage, so both percentage and raw damage. So those are going to be the biggest one increase in terms of like increasing your damage. And lastly, is going to be class defaults. More specifically, the Candy Barbarian, Lunar Lancer, and Boomeranger. So which both Candy Barbarian, Lunar Lancer increases 30% of your bonus damage, and the Boomeranger increases 10%. So yeah, that's going to be an increase in damage just by using those classes. And yeah, if you're using those classes, that's why you're seeing that your physical damage, or well, pretty much the physical damage, because all three characters are physical damage, that's why you're going to see that your physical damage is higher than normal. And yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know about the damage. That the way that you increase it is by increasing both your raw and your bonus damage. Focus on the one that will give you the most benefit in both categories. So it's going to be the one that will give you the most raw, and also the one that will give you the most percentage. So in other words, you can focus on gems and mastery first and foremost. Gems are going to be the best for raw, mastery is going to be the best for percentage. Make sure to get a strong ally, join up a good high level club so you can get the bonuses from the fixture, and the rest are going to be pretty much passive. You can also get some gear, and then pretty much the rest are going to be passive that you're going to get over time. This might take a while to get you into the higher tiers of damage, but honestly, this is an MMO. MMOs are usually going to take you a while to actually get into the higher tiers of game. But yeah, don't get desperate. You are going to get it eventually, so just focus on those things and you're going to get there quicker. But it's not going to be a smooth transition in just getting into 350k in like a day or a week. That's going to take you a while. It could take you months, but it's going to, increase your damage by quite a lot if you focus on the really big increase in your both raw and percentage. And yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around as always. Leave a like if you want to help the channel grow. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And that is all for today. Once again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Take care and keep on hunting. And good luck on increasing your damage. Again, don't get desperate. It's going to be just fine. Alright? Farewell.